Tonight, breaking news. The split verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, and late today, the judge denying bail. The urgent search for the missing in a fireworks disaster and severe storms threaten the 4th of July getaway. First, Sean Combs, just before we came on the air, learning the judge has refused to release him. He will stay behind bars ahead of his sentencing, facing potentially 20 years in prison. Found guilty on 2 prostitution counts, but avoiding a possible life sentence. Not guilty on racketeering and sex trafficking. What the judge said, why he refused to release Combs, citing what he calls Combs' propensity for violence. The reaction to the verdict from the lawyer of his one-time girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, seen on that 2016 hotel security camera footage, and the legal problems ahead for Combs, including dozens of civil suits. Aaron Katersky from the courthouse in Manhattan. The urgent search for victims tonight after a massive explosion levels a fireworks warehouse in Northern California. 7 people still missing. Evacuations in place. Fireworks shooting into the sky and triggering multiple fires. Millions on the move ahead of the 4th of July holiday on what's expected to be one of the busiest days on the roads. A record number of Americans heading to their destinations, but severe weather disrupting air travel and the tropical threat off the coast of Florida. Lee Goldberg timing out the forecast. Tight security amid the drama in an Idaho courtroom. Bryan Kohberger admitting to the murders of 4 college students, stabbing them to death in an off-campus house. Kohberger answering yes when asked if he understood the charges against him. His parents just feet away. The late reaction from the families of the victims, our team in the courtroom. President Trump's mega budget bill hits a snag in the House one day after squeaking by in the Senate. Can Republicans get it done before the president's 4th of July deadline? Mary Bruce from the White House. Terror in the water, a shark appearing to chase a surfer moments after attacking him. Other surfers racing him to safety. A piece from an airplane's wing found in a suburban driveway, where it came from. Britain's Princess Kate opening up about her cancer battle. And how American zoos are helping animals beat the scorching heat.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on a very busy Wednesday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. We begin tonight with breaking news in the Sean Diddy Combs trial here in New York. Just a short time ago, the judge denying Combs bail. About 6 hours after the jury delivered that split verdict, finding the music mogul not guilty on the most serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. The jury acquitting him on 3 of 5 counts, finding him guilty on lesser charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. He now faces up to 20 years in federal prison on those 2 counts. The judge saying he denied bail based on Combs' propensity for violence, making him a danger to the community. Let's get right to ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, leading us off from the courthouse. Aaron.
Hundreds of people are gathered here outside court, and Sean Combs went from elated to deflated today, celebrating the outcome of the trial, then hanging his head after he learned he would not be released before sentencing. Tonight, a judge denying Sean Combs bail just hours after a split verdict, the jury convicting him of 2 counts of transporting people for prostitution, but finding him not guilty of the most serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. As the verdict was read earlier in the day, Combs was elated, dropping to his knees in prayer. He put his hands together and mouthed, "Thank you" to the 8 men and 4 women on the jury. He then turned to his family and said, "I'm coming home, baby, I'm coming home." The family broke into applause, his son Christian celebrating on the street.
Love everybody watching, so happy. Pop's coming home.
But not tonight. The judge said Combs poses a danger to the community, pointing to the defense's own admission that this was a case that did have violence. It's an incredible odyssey for one of hip-hop's biggest celebrities, who was arrested in New York last September after federal agents raided his opulent homes in Miami and Los Angeles. They seized weapons, drugs, boxes of baby oil, and cartons of lubricant that prosecutors used in an attempt to show Combs ran a criminal enterprise that trafficked women, transported prostitutes, and committed other crimes with the help of his staff, who they said serviced the defendant's every desire through a methodical pattern of violence, coercion, and manipulation. But the jury sided with the defense, which argued prosecutors badly exaggerated the case so they could charge threesomes as racketeering. The 11-year relationship between Combs and Cassie Ventura became a centerpiece of the case. In public, the couple seemed glamorous. In private, she testified there was physical violence, psychological trauma, and degrading sex with male escorts while Combs watched, directed, and filmed.
Cassie is satisfied that she did her part, everything that she was asked to do. I hope other survivors, people who are suffering in silence and who might be listening to this interview, are not deterred from coming forward, because I don't think, and I know actually, that Cassie doesn't regret anything that she did.
2016 hotel security camera footage captured Combs kicking and dragging Ventura. The defense arguing it depicts domestic violence. We own it. It happened, the defense said. It's not sex trafficking. Late today, the defense reacting outside court.
He has not sexually assaulted anybody, certainly hasn't sex trafficked anybody.
Aaron Katersky back with us now from the courthouse. And Aaron, late today, Combs' defense attorneys were still pleading with the judge to reduce the amount of time he has to spend behind bars.
His attorneys sure did plead with the judge to release Combs on bail. And Combs looked pretty frustrated when the judge refused. At one point, he raised his hand as if he wanted to argue himself. The judge did say he would consider moving up sentencing, which is tentatively set for October 3rd. That's when Combs faces up to 20 years in prison. And Whit, he is also facing more than 6 civil lawsuits. Whit?
Aaron Katersky on this case from the very beginning. We do appreciate it. Thank you. And a programming note here, the ABC News special, Verdict, the Diddy trial, airs tonight at 10 Eastern. We're following another developing story right now, the massive fireworks explosion in Northern California. Authorities say 7 people are now missing, an urgent search underway. The blast leveling a fireworks warehouse and igniting other fires in the area. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, authorities say 7 people are unaccounted for after this stunning explosion at a California fireworks warehouse.
And there was just a huge fireworks explosion in the field.
These massive flames erupting over and over Tuesday night in Yolo County outside Sacramento. You can see some of those dangerous fireworks igniting.
I thought it was an earthquake.
911 operators overwhelmed with calls from residents saying the blast shook their homes.
Windows, everything rattled. I'm surprised the windows didn't break out.
The warehouse was used for fireworks storage. California fire officials say the explosion charred about 80 acres.
It's a very complex and ongoing incident that is not completely terminated or mitigated.
Tonight, the fire is still burning, and this remains an active threat with the area under evacuation. Investigators are using unmanned aircrafts to find those 7 missing people, saying it's still not yet safe to go in.
He was excited to be a dad. I'm only 2 months, so we were just waiting for this as a new opportunity, a new chapter. He saw it as a new chapter in our life.
Now, family members of those missing are voicing their frustration.
We were here since yesterday and have yet to receive any information, have yet to see any efforts.
With the cause of this fire is not yet known. We have learned 2 people were injured in the initial explosions. Both of them are expected to be okay. Whit.
Trevor Ault for us. Thank you. Now to the sudden and stunning turn in the Idaho college murders case. After insisting his innocence for nearly 3 years, defendant Bryan Kohberger today pleading guilty to fatally stabbing 4 students in an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho in November 2022. Tonight, mixed reactions from the victims' families, some calling it justice, but another blasting it as a deal with the devil. Here's ABC's Kena Whitworth in Idaho.
For nearly 3 years, Bryan Kohberger's lawyers insisted he was innocent in the brutal stabbings of 4 Idaho college students. And tonight, that changed as he accepted a plea deal to avoid the death penalty.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
The former criminology PhD student pleading guilty to all 4 counts of first-degree murder, confessing that he willfully took the lives of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. During the hearing, Kohberger abruptly standing from his seat to emphatically answer the judge's questions.
Yes.
All right.
The judge asking him to sit.
And Mr. Kohberger, just to make it easier, you don't need to stand when you speak to me. I appreciate it.
Then going through the victims one by one, sending chills through the courtroom.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being?
Yes.
Kaylee Gonzalez, a human being?
Yes.
Xana Kernodle, a human being?
Yes.
Ethan Chapin, a human being?
Yes.
Loved ones tearing up as each student's name was read aloud, and Kohberger's father shaking his head in disbelief while consoling his mother. Outside of court, Kaylee Gonzalez's parents slamming the deal. They say they wanted a full confession and the location of the murder weapon, telling our Alex Stone.
When you heard your daughter's name being read in court with those details, what was that like?
Let my daughter down with...
The family of Ethan Chapin in support of the plea deal. And tonight, a lawyer for Maddie Mogan's family saying they are 100% behind it.
We turn from darkness and uncertainty of the legal process to the light of the future. We have closure.
And Whit, next is sentencing. It's scheduled for July 23rd. It could carry over into the 24th. At that hearing, the victims' families will have an opportunity to make a statement. And then Bryan Kohberger will begin serving 4 consecutive life sentences with no ability to appeal. Whit.
An emotional day in court. Kana Whitworth, thank you. Now to the severe storms and the growing tropical threat off the coast of Florida and record holiday travel heading into the long July 4th weekend. More than 61 million people are expected to hit the roads, with today being one of the busiest travel days of the year. The TSA screening nearly 2.5 million people at the airports yesterday. That number likely higher today. Lee Goldberg with the forecast in just a moment. But first, here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, highways jammed coast to coast, one of the busiest days to travel by car.
It's either putting yourself in the right mindset or leaving very, very early.
Storms finally moving out of the Northeast after swamping roads in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Lightning rocking New England. The deafening strike outside Boston and Walpole, Massachusetts, setting fire to a home. The storms forced more than 1,600 flight cancellations Tuesday and more than 8,000 delays. Sisters Tammy and Melanie were on their way to Iceland, coming from Dallas-Fort Worth. They missed their connection at Newark and spent the night on the floor.
Then we couldn't find a hotel room anywhere. And so we thought, well, let's just pull up some cement. So that's what we did last night.
Effects from delays and cancellations extending to the halls of Congress. With so many flights canceled in and out of Washington, D.C., members are scrambling to get back to the Capitol to vote on the tax bill.
Oh, my God.
In St. Louis, frantic passengers climbing down the wing of a United Express flight bound for Chicago that returned to St. Louis after pilots reported smoke in the cabin. In the west, more dust storms in the forecast after a massive cloud engulfed Harry Reid International Airport. Multiple planes were grounded as a result.
And Whit, as you can see, traffic is busy behind me on the George Washington Bridge. Today and Sunday are the busiest days to travel on the road. Severe storms return to the Northeast tomorrow. Whit.
Stephanie Ramos, thank you. Let's get right to meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our New York station WABC. And Lee, those severe storms could have a big impact.
No doubt, Whit. A day off from storms today, they'll right back tomorrow with some gusty winds and heavy downpours. There are problem spots this evening. For instance, the desert southwest because of the monsoonal flow. We've got flooding parts of Arizona, reports of blowing dust in parts of Tucson. Other storms from the northern Rockies into the Great Lakes, and it's still raining in the mid-Atlantic down to the southeast. As for tomorrow, after a sunny start in the northeast, we've got storms between about 3 in the afternoon and 9 in the evening, maybe close to 6 o'clock along the I-95 corridor. Philly, New York, Hartford, damaging winds a possibility, and then we get much nicer for the 4th. The southeast is an issue as well. There's a front stalled over Florida. It means waves of rain. There is a small chance, but a climbing chance for tropical development into early next week. They'll have heavy rains regardless. Rest of the country, it's heat and storms in the middle of the country. Sunshine on both coasts. Couldn't be nicer, Whit, for the Macy's fireworks here in New York. Whit.
We will take that. Lee Goldberg, we appreciate it as always. Thank you. Now to President Trump's massive spending and tax cut bill facing new challenges in the House after narrowly passing the Senate. The president and Speaker Mike Johnson trying to convince holdout members of their own party to support the bill, despite concerns over Medicaid cuts and adding trillions to the national debt. ABC's Mary Bruce reporting from the White House tonight.
Tonight, an all-out scramble. The president and the House Speaker working the phones and twisting arms, trying to get Republicans on board with Trump's signature bill.
We can't make everyone 100% happy. It's impossible.
At this hour, the vote's still not there for the bill that includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, mostly for the wealthy, and new spending on immigration enforcement. Hardline conservative Republicans angry that the bill could add $3.4 trillion to the debt over the next decade. Moderates concerned cuts to Medicaid could force an estimated 11.8 million people to lose their insurance. After the bill narrowly passed the Senate, the president told me he thought it would be easier in the House.
What is your message to those holdouts?
It's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
Today, he's summoned the holdouts to the White House. R.J. O'Brien catching up with them later.
Congressman, did the president move any votes to the White House?
Keeping all of today close to the vest.
Did the president move your vote?
The president was very kind and gifted in his talk.
Republicans on the fence, well aware the president has promised there will be consequences for those who stand in the way of his bill.
And the speaker says he remains optimistic and hopeful, says they're making progress. He wants to get this done later tonight. And reminder, Whit, they can only lose 3 Republican votes and still pass this. Whit?
Mary Bruce, thank you. When we come back tonight, Princess Kate opens up about her cancer battle and how it's changing her life. A shark attacking a teenage surfer then appears to chase him as other surfers race to get him to safety. And part of a jet's wing flap turns up on a suburban driveway in North Carolina. What we know about how it got there. Next tonight, a terrifying scene on a beach in Australia. A teenage boy lucky to be alive. These images appearing to show a shark chasing the boy as other surfers bring him to safety. He was badly mauled, bitten multiple times. People on the beach applied a tourniquet using a surfboard as a makeshift stretcher. The teen rushed to a nearby hospital. Tonight, the FAA is investigating after part of a wing flap from a Delta plane was found in a driveway in North Carolina. Police called to the scene this morning. Delta Flight 3247 from Atlanta to Raleigh-Durham landing safely just after midnight. An inspection later finding the plane missing a piece of a wing flap. Delta says it's cooperating with the investigation. Still ahead, Princess Kate meets with cancer patients and opens up about her own journey. To the index now, Britain's Princess of Wales opening up about her cancer battle, meeting with cancer patients and their families at a well-being garden in Essex, England. Kate calling a cancer diagnosis life-changing, speaking about what it's like after the treatment ends.
The phase afterwards is really, it's a really difficult one. You're not necessarily in the clinical team any longer, but you're not able to function normally at home as you perhaps once used to.
Princess Kate announced in January that she was in remission after completing chemotherapy treatment for an undisclosed cancer. Up next, keeping cool as the temperatures soar, how zookeepers are bringing relief. Finally tonight, the animals feeling the heat and the creative ways to cool off. Tonight in zoos across America, just like the rest of us, they're trying to beat the heat as temperatures rise. At the Houston Zoo, meet Ravioli, their North American river otter, racing from corner to corner in his habitat's pool, knowing it's dinner time. Nice. And these elephants taking a dip in their pool too. Theirs is 10 feet deep. Rojo, the South American Pantanal jaguar cub, is enjoying his first summer at the zoo with a bite out of an icy treat. And Olive, the giant anteater, carefully sprayed with a chilly waterfall by her zookeepers. They say the water soothes Olive's long snout and dense fur. From the Milwaukee Zoo and the cool water for the bears, to the Memphis Zoo and the mud bath for the giant tortoises.
Oh, this is perfect shot.
Zoos tonight saying they're keeping their beloved animals cool and comfortable with activities that also keep their minds and bodies engaged. These two otters carrying blocks of ice up steps and diving into the water. The families visiting loving the show. And at the Phoenix Zoo, they're making snowmen. From the lions to the giraffes, all treated to man-made snow, as this weather is making so many desperate for ways to cool off. I think we're all feeling it too. Thank you so much for watching tonight. And a reminder, the ABC News special Verdict, the Diddy trial airs tonight at 10 Eastern. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 3rd year in a row.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.